Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, media reports claim that the Trump administration hopes to present its peace plan for the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict in 5 weeks' time. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov vows to assist Syrian refugees that have fled the conflict to neighboring Lebanon to return to their home country. According to a White House official, only after Pastor Brunson is released from detention in Turkey, the Trump administration will be willing to discuss other issues concerning the strained U.S. Turkish relations. Media reports claim that the Trump administration hopes to present its peace plan for the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict in 5 weeks' time. The peace initiative, which President Donald Trump referred to as the deal of the century, will be made public at the backdrop of his UN speech to the annual summit of the General Assembly, during which Trump is expected to describe his administration's efforts to realize a viable solution to the conflict. According to both Israeli and Palestinian reports, President Trump is expected to meet separately with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, as well as leaders of regional powers, to discuss the contents of the American proposal. Meanwhile, details emerged from a secret meeting that was held several months ago between the son of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Tariq, and U.S. envoy to the Middle East peace process, Jason Greenblatt. According to Israeli officials who spoke on condition of anonymity, Greenblatt met privately with Tariq Abbas in September of last year, during which the latter made it clear that he did not believe that the two-state solution was viable, and therefore supported a one-state solution with equality for all citizens. In a report published by Israel's Channel 10, Israeli officials were quoted as saying that the meeting was held on the sidelines of the annual meeting of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The officials emphasized that the U.S. envoy presented the Palestinian leader's son with the American administration position on the Israeli-Palestinian affairs and asked to hear his opinion. Tariq Abbas reportedly surprised Jason Greenblatt by saying that, unlike his father, he opposed a two-state solution as not applicable based on the reality on the ground, while asserting that he supports a one-state solution between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea with equal rights for all citizens. While TV7 was able to verify that a meeting between the two indeed took place, the sources we spoke to refused to provide details of the secret meeting. That said, a Palestinian official confirmed to TV7 that a growing number of Palestinians are losing hope for an aspired two-state solution, with many of them adopting the position of Tariq Abbas, a one-state solution with equal rights for all its citizens. Now in other news, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov vowed to assist Syrian refugees that have fled the conflict to neighboring Lebanon to return to their home country. In a joint press conference with his Lebanese counterpart, Basil, in Moscow, Minister Lavrov emphasized that the conditions in Syria have changed, allowing for refugees to leave their home countries and assist in restoring their state.
Мы подробно обсудили перспективы укрепления нашего сотрудничества в вопросах содействия безопасному и достойному возвращению на родину граждан Сирийской Арабской Республики, которые нашли временное убежище на ливанской земле. И у нас единая с Ливаном позиция, которая заключается в том, что условия для того, чтобы беженцы начали возвращаться, уже созданы, этот процесс уже начался, и контрпродуктивно, мягко говоря, выдвигать искусственные требования, которые затрудняют возможность для беженцев уже сегодня возвращаться к своим очагам и восстанавливать свое государство.
Meanwhile, Lebanese Foreign Minister Basil urged Moscow to incentivize Russian companies to partake in a new tender to develop offshore oil and gas deposits. Minister Basil emphasized that Russia's involvement would bolster regional stability.
في موضوع النفط والغاز الشركات الروسية شاركت وفازت في المزايدة الأولى للنفط والغاز في بحر لبنان وفي مجمع النفطي، ولبنان بصدد التحضير لجولة ثانية، وطلبنا من الوزير تشجيع الشركات الروسية للمشاركة مجددا لما لفوزهم من أهمية استراتيجية في العلاقات بين البلدين وفي استقرار المنطقة.
The offshore exploration zone that Lebanon seeks to involve Russia in pertains to a triangular area of sea of around 860 square kilometers, a source of dispute between Israel and Lebanon, whom both claim ownership over the territory. The maritime border dispute between Lebanon and Israel has raised tensions between Jerusalem and Beirut, that after Lebanon put up an offshore energy exploration tender, which drew participation of several international companies, including from France, Italy, and Russia. While Lebanon's decision to move forward on granting exploration licenses in the disputed waters led to an exchange of threats and condemnations, attempts by Washington to alleviate the situation from deteriorating into war prolonged the quiet between the two countries, as active exploration surrounding the disputed territory was delayed. Nevertheless, a Lebanese source told TV7 that Russia's involvement would thwart efforts by both Israel and the United States to hold Beirut's offshore energy aspirations. There was no immediate Israeli response to Lebanon's attempts to seek Russia's involvement. Now to Turkey, where Ankara filed a complaint against Washington's additional import duties on its steel and aluminium products in the World Trade Organization, asking for a consultation. As part of its complaint, Turkey claims that the actions taken by the White House are inconsistent with a number of provisions of the World Trade Organization's agreement on safeguards and the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. According to the regulation, the United States and Turkey are required to reach an agreement within 60 days after Ankara initiated the dispute complaint. Otherwise, the case would be handed over to the World Trade Organization's dispute department. That said, after a Turkish court rejected an appeal for the release of Pastor Brunson, President Donald Trump emphasized that he would not show any leniency toward Turkey unless the Christian pastor would be released. According to a White House official, only after Pastor Brunson is released, the Trump administration will be willing to discuss other issues concerning the strained U.S. Turkish relations. Meanwhile, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan cast the ongoing currency crisis in his country as an attack on Turkey's economy, flag, and call to prayer, using an address at the eve of the Muslim holiday Eid al-Adha to strike a defiant tone. In a pre-recorded address to the Turkish people, President Erdogan stressed that the aim of the recent currency crisis was to bring Turkey and its people to their knees.
Ekonomimize yönelik saldırının doğrudan ezanımıza ve bayrağımıza yönelik saldırılardan hiçbir farkı yoktur. Amaç aynıdır. Amaç Türkiye'yi ve Türk milletini dize getirmektir, esir almaktır. Terör örgütleriyle, İçimizdeki ihanet çeteleriyle, bin bir hileyle, desiseyle, tuzakla çökertemedikleri Türkiye'yi döviz kuruyla pes ettireceklerini sananlar yanıldıklarını pek yakında göreceklerdir. Allah'ın izniyle ülkemiz bunların hepsinin de üstesinden gelecek güce, imkana, dirayete sahiptir.
The Turkish lira has lost some 38% of its value against the dollar this year. After applying some successful measures that managed to stabilize the fall of the lira, the Turkish currency received a blow over the weekend, with S&P Global and Moody's separately lowering the rating of the Turkish lira. S&P Global cut Turkey's rating to B+ from BB- after markets closed on Friday, citing the extreme volatility in the currency and forecasting a recession next year. Moody's, on its part, lowered its rating on Turkey to Ba3 from Ba2 and changed the rating outlook to negative, highlighting the weakening of public institutions and the reduction in the predictability of policy making. Adding to the pressure between Washington and Ankara, shots were fired yesterday from a moving vehicle at the U.S. Embassy. Turkish officials said in response that there is a risk that this incident may raise tensions even further, while adding that it is crucial to see how the Trump administration responds to this attack. Thank you for watching us. Praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have an Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.